Welcome to Mike's Harder. This is another After Hours. I'm Joe.
And I'm Colton. And tonight we want to talk about, if anybody listened to our Boston Massacre, I just had a little bit of a Boston accent coming. Boston.
Your cousin from Boston.
But if anybody listened to the Boston Massacre episode, we talk about the next iteration of the main podcast. We had originally planned, and we kind of both forgot at the time, to do a war or a battle that was of indigenous people.
I didn't forget. I just have way too much research to do.
Well, but I mean, when we talked about what the next episode was, yeah. I had forgotten. But so we semi lost a guest that we had planned to have for that to kind of bring some more information to the table.
Probably because he listened to a couple of After Hours and was like, yeah, I don't need to align myself with that. And hey, man, if that's the case, I totally respect it.
If it's not, and you want to make time at some point, it's still open. But, so, because of that, we're going to push it, and we are going to do...
Oh, the Jones Act.
Joe knows about this. I hadn't heard about it until he asked me if I wanted to do it as a topic.
It's the first form of corporate welfare. So this will be fun because this is 100 years old, and it's no different than the government bailing out GM and Chrysler. I think it would be a
Jesus,
fun topic.
You always go back to that with your, well, Ford never needed a bailout.
That's true. True story. Ford didn't need a bailout. But you know what they did as an abomination? They created the fucking electric Mustang. It's 4 doors.
Oh, dude, that's the coolest Mustang they ever made.
Oh, yeah, I'll burn your fucking house down. Jesus Christ, that's the ugliest sumbitch thing on the road.
Oh, what are you talking? Nah, dude, the Fox Body's the ugliest Mustang.
Dude. All right. I will eat your face.
Well, the Fox Body is the ugliest, but the close second is the SN95. The like early 2000s before the...
I thought the Mustang 2 was the ugliest, and I owned every one of those.
I don't know. I still think the SN95 is probably... I just don't like the look of it. I think it looks weird. I like the Terminator Mustangs, though. The Terminator Cobra, that generation. Oh, fuck. I would kill for a Terminator Cobra.
The only... bubble body style that I ever liked. I was in Las Vegas in 2008, and
that would be about the year. Yeah,
they had a drag strip only Mustang, and I looked. There wasn't even a VIN tag in that car.
Was that one of the Terminator supercharged?
This thing was gnarly. I don't know what it was, but it was fucking gnarly.
Oh, I bet we could find it. I bet there's video of it somewhere.
I have
from
pictures
2008.
of it.
Do you really?
Yeah.
We'll have to look at it sometime.
Yeah, I'll have to dig through my Facebook shit because I have all that stuff hidden. But yeah, I have pictures of it. It didn't have a VIN tag.
Huh.
That thing.
Yeah, they didn't want that thing being registered.
Well, it was a prototype.
Oh, okay.
You were able to buy those cars, but yeah, the one I saw had no VIN tag, and yeah, they were radio delete, AC delete. They came with a...
Were those streetable? Were they able to be registered for street use?
That I don't know.
I feel like that would be hey, you probably could register this, but it probably won't.
I mean, if
checks.
you've got a Kentucky address, they'd probably be like, oh, you got a car. All right, here you go. You know?
Yeah, if you're in California, they're definitely not letting you register that.
Right. Oh, complete side note.
Okay.
Fuck, squirrel. Read an article the other day.
Yeah.
United States Air Force.
Okay.
Their diesel trucks, Ford F-350 diesels.
Yeah.
They buy them from Ford, EGR delete and DEF delete.
Well, yeah, when you work for the government, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
They buy them with nothing. No emissions whatsoever.
I was going to say, those probably come factory deleted. They probably just are like, well, we'll just put the regular parts on these ones.
Yeah. I was blown away, like, especially in Southern California, the Air Force Base in Southern California, all of their diesel trucks, nah,
I just think it's hilarious how geeked out you're getting about a diesel truck when you hate diesels so much.
You know what I got even more geeked out about?
What?
The fucking military's building a Ford Ranger that takes A8 aircraft fuel. All of their deployment vehicles have to run on the same fuel. So like everything from the aircraft all the way down to motorcycles have to take the same fuel.
Okay, but is that kind of like when people make their cars run on E85 where they can still put gas in it, but they will run on E85, or can they only run on whatever
Yeah,
that
this is meant for only A8 jet fuel. So the same shit that the fighter jets use all the way down to the motorcycles.
Fucking Ranger.
They're put it like a 2-point-something liter Ranger that takes jet fuel.
Imagine if the guy that had that 4-cylinder gray Fox body got a hold of one of those fuckers.
Oh, yeah, damn it. I can't remember his name right off the top
I
of my head.
can't either. If I can find the link though, I'll put the link to that video because that
man.
video is insane. A turbo 4-cylinder fucking Fox body lifting the wheels.
For eighth of a mile.
Yeah.
No, I remember reading about some military motorcycles that ran on diesel. And all I can think is how funny that would sound.
Oh, dude, I can't think of who built it, but there was a recent build of a Harley that had a diesel engine on it, turboed everything. That thing was fucking badass.
Diesel Harley?
Yeah. It was all custom.
That sounds like...
Dude, the fucking turbo was out there, and all you heard when he was fucking going past was that fucking turbo. It was insane.
That sounds just as disgusting as your stupid LS swap in a Mustang.
It's the only way that a Mustang will ever be fucking fast. And you can't even argue that, because when you drove the Trans Am,
That fucker was quick, dude.
I know.
That fucker was quick.
And for anybody, I just want this on record so that it's for the whole world to hear. Joe told me that it's faster than any of the other Mustangs that weren't built for, racing that he'd ever driven.
That is true. That's fact. That's fact. That thing was fucking fast.
Guy damn near gave me a fucking heart attack going 110 mile an hour coming up to a goddamn train tracks.
Like you thought I didn't see it.
You didn't act like you saw it. You were still just foot to the floor, and we're about a half mile away.
I had 2 gears to go. I knew what I was doing.
I didn't. I thought we were about to jump that bitch.
No.
I was not trying to jump that train track going 110 mile an hour.
It had a cage in it. I mean,
we
yeah,
wouldn't
but
have
died.
I'm gonna die when my head hits the cage. All it had was pool noodles on it, just so I didn't bang my head when I got in. There was no protection for me whatsoever, or you for that matter. Other than that you're a little shorter, you're probably gonna hit the side window before you're gonna hit the cage.
No, that car was fucking fast. I have driven faster things, but not in stock trim. That was fucking fast.
For it being just a stock, bone stock, I put a cage in it because I planned on building it.
I still can't believe that guy cut that cage out of it.
Oh, dude, it was a fucking $4,000 cage.
Yeah, what a waste.
Like,
was that a 12-point or 10-point?
12-point.
Yeah.
I planned on
What
making
a
that thing
fucking
1,500
waste.
horsepower and being able to do anything I wanted. And when he offered to make the door bars, I was like, oh, that'd be cool. And he's like, yeah, but you can't go faster than an 11 or 10 second mile without having them welded or something stupid like that. I was like, if I fucking did bolt-ons with this thing, I could run that.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that if I do bolt-ons, I now have to get a full cage put in. So if I spend the extra $500 so that I can get into this thing easy, I'm going to just have to spend more money to have you put it to what it would be cheaper?
Watching you get in and out of that car was kind of funny, though.
Yeah, I mean, for the first while. After a while, I got pretty good about just fucking hopping in that bitch.
Well, I've got a 12-point sitting in the Mustang in the garage.
I know. We need to get on doing something with that car. I would love to fucking help build that car.
That fucker ain't it hasn't even started since shit.
Not for lack of me fucking trying. I've been trying to get you to
2000.
start that thing for the last 10 years.
It's been like 2010 since the last time it started. But I gotta fucking pull the foam out of the fuel cell, clean the fuel system out before I even attempt to start the damn thing.
Sounds pretty easy.
You ever tried to pull the foam out of a fuel cell?
Uh-uh.
It's not fun. It's a 4-inch hole. I got a 18 by 12 fuel cell. I got to pull all that foam out of that hole, that little bitty hole.
There's so many jokes I could make.
Go for it.
I'm gonna elect not to. But no, that thing that I wanted to talk to you about. I had a revelation the other day, and I say choice when I say what I'm gonna say, but it was more of a realization. Ever since my mom passed away, I've been kind of just going through life, and I didn't think about it like this until I watched an interview with Theo Von and Jelly Roll. And they talk about choosing to want to live, because Theo asked him about his weight, and he goes, I've been working on my weight recently. He goes, but I didn't choose to want to live until recently. And he goes, I get that. It's a thing with, drug users or ex-drug users a lot of times.
That's why I don't understand it, I guess.
Probably. But so I was kind of just going like day by day, not caring about finances, not whatever. I've been fired from jobs. I didn't give a shit. I actually give a shit about this job that I have now, and that's not necessarily the thing. But I haven't had anything bring me as much joy as this podcast has, spending time with you and Don since I was 14 and my mom died. And I realized the other day that I want to choose to live. And no, for anybody listening, it's not I was going to, kill myself. It was just
wasn't going to unalive himself.
Yeah, it wasn't anything like that. It was I just didn't give a fuck. If I died in my sleep some night, it'd been cool, whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to tell you about that, and thank you for doing this with me.
Dude, this has been so much fun. You saw my reluctance at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, when I asked you and you said, I don't know, I got to think about it. I thought for sure I was going to get a text the next day like, I don't think I'm going to do that.
Yeah. I'm oddly like drawn to this. This is fun. This is we talk about whatever the fuck we want.
Right.
It doesn't have to be like the structured ones.
Yeah.
But like the after hours, we talk about whatever the fuck we want.
Which I like the structured ones. I like doing the research, and I like, getting a chance to form an opinion. Like, I would have never thought with the Boston Massacre episode, I would have never thought about the self-defense and the side of the British.
Yeah.
I just was like, fuck them. They killed people. It helped, start the war.
Yeah. Yeah, it really did too. I mean, it was just one more matchstick lit.
Right. But in all reality, there is a good case to be made. There's a reason, John Adams did so well with his defense.
Because we have laws.
Right. There is a case to be made for self-defense, and I had never considered that. So I like those in that aspect of I get to do research and a lot of times change my opinion.
I like to read and I like to research, but when I was in school, I hated homework. This has given me an opportunity where I don't really hate it because we picked the topic, so it is kind of fun. I'll go into it with like a blank slate,
Yeah.
and then figure out, all right, this is where I side with this or that. Yeah. I didn't think I'd enjoy this much. This has been a lot of fucking fun.
Yeah, I was talking to my grandpa about it, and I was telling him about the whole choosing to want to live thing, and he was like, "That's the saddest thing I've ever heard." I go, "Yeah, it kind of is when you think about it. Just not giving a fuck. If you think about it in depth, it is kind of sad."
I think though that at some point, most of us have been there.
Right. I think a lot of people aren't self-aware about things like that, though.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Which, I hate to ring this fucking bell again, but being celibate, I really look internally a lot about things that I have problems with instead of just I'm gonna go to the bar and see if I can pick up some snatch for the night. But I've done a lot of like internal thinking, and then I heard that on a podcast with Theo Von and Jelly Roll, and I was like, holy shit.
Theo Von is one that's hard for me to listen to because the guy, I know he's intelligent as hell, but he comes across so damn dumb.
He's just, I think it's just the way that his brain is post drugs. Because, and I'm not saying that it made him stupid, but I understand kind of the way he's thinking about things. And there's kind of that ADHD of, this leads you to think about this, and then this leads you to think about this, and then all of a sudden you went squirrel 7 times and you're nowhere near the fucking trail.
Yeah. Well, doing drugs too early in life, I can attest that shit fucks you up. That will it will stick you right where you were when you started smoking, specifically weed. You'll get stuck there.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work to get out of that place too, which a lot of people also don't think about this. It seems like a lot of the people that I've known that did drugs young, they never tried to change their mentality after the fact either. No. It was just, now I smoke weed and that's my identity.
Yeah.
Whereas, I'm not afraid to admit it. I used to do drugs, and not doing drugs, I've wanted to change my mentality. I definitely still have those times where I'm like, brain fart, or I'm thinking about something too deeply because I'm like stuck in my head or whatever. But I've done a lot of work to try and change my mentality of things, whereas a lot of people that did drugs, pre 22 or 23 years old, they don't. They get that mindset and they stay there until they either end up going to jail for something stupid or having something happen where they almost die, or something happens that's a big thing in their life to change that.
How often do you read?
Every day.
But what do you read?
If I'm not reading an article, I have a book that I keep on my nightstand that I read before bed. I don't read the news a lot just because it's a lot of bullshit. That, and I don't know that there's really a lot of current events other than things that piss me off about the government that I'm interested in. But like right now I'm reading a book about George Washington's spy ring.
Yeah.
It's called The Spy Ring That Saved the Revolutionary War, I think. So that's what I'm reading at night now. And then it's just like articles and stuff. And, for work, I have to make documents, and so I have to read about that and figure stuff out. There's a lot of reading in my life. It does. I never think about how much I read, but I guess now that I'm thinking about it, I read quite a bit, which is another thing that a lot of people hate doing in school, so they don't do as an adult, which reading helps with the way you talk, your vocabulary, being able to figure things out with context clues, social situations. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that reading goes into.
I read all the freaking time. I get up in the morning, I turn on the news, but then I go to, I open my phone and I start reading news articles. And what the sad part is? Most of the stuff that's on print news that you read on your phone is either created by bots, AI, or somebody who has zero grammar skills. It's so disappointing.
Or somebody that doesn't know even what the fuck they're talking about.
You go to read it and you're like, This makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, they're writing a synopsis of a paper that somebody else wrote in the same building that actually knows what the fuck they're talking about, but they aren't the one that's the writer.
The overturned bump stock bill. That shit was fucking crazy. I read 5-6 different articles of over coverage of the Supreme Court turning down or declining the bump stock bill. I'm like, these people have no freaking clue what they're talking about. They're using the wrong verbiage. They absolutely miscategorize. It was like, what in the hell?
Well, hell, listen to ATF agents talk about firearms.
I watched an ATF agent try to take apart a Glock. That was some funny shit.
You would think that being in the ATF, you would have to have knowledge.
No, evidently not.
Well, it's probably another one of those things where it's like those that are managing are there because they're good at managing, not because they know the information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's probably the lower level people in the ATF that actually know what they're talking about when it comes to firearms.
If that was the case, though, why would they have ever gotten rid of bump stocks? Why would they have ever...
Well, the lower level employees at the ATF aren't going to have any say in that.
They'd be able to explain to the higher-ups, it's an accessory. It doesn't actually change the rate of fire of the gun.
Well, yeah, but if they tell the truth about it, Joe, it's harder to get it taken out.
I can do the same thing with a belt loop. I really can. I can do the same I can do the same thing with a short sling. But they convinced somebody in the ATF and DJT was like, yeah, we need to ban those. That's they're bad. No, it doesn't affect the rate of fire any more than a guy with a fucking good trigger finger.
Yeah, for all the people that think that we're just, pole writing every time we talk about him, there are things that we don't like.
Yeah, DJT, he fucking outlawed bump stocks. It's a piece of fucking plastic. It is not a serialized part. It's a piece of fucking plastic.
Well, yeah, but Joe, if it's not a serialized part, too, then they can just, well, if we're going to go and look and see because we heard that you have one.
Dude, I'm a firm believer that I should be able to order a fucking machine gun through a catalog, have it shipped to my door, dropped off on my front porch.
Dude, the Sears catalog.
Yeah.
I think if I had an old Sears catalog, it'd be like an old Playboy. Just stuck together.
You know what's weird? What's weird is like, when I was growing up, Sears catalog had the ladies' underpants section and stuff, and
where your mom's trying to order underwear and she can't even get to the right page to figure out what she wants.
They're all stuck together. But if you went to like 1934, the ladies' underwear, they probably looked like
like our boxer briefs.
Yeah, because they're probably down to the knees. Nah.
Well, I mean, you got to protect the knees somehow.
I suppose
they probably had less carpet back then. It was probably a little more uncomfortable.
Poor people had hardwood floors.
It's so wild to think about that. People would have houses and they would cover up good ass hardwood floors, legitimate hardwood floors too, not just fucking
polished hardwood floors.
Yeah, not just stuck together pieces of fucking wood.
And they would cover it up with carpet to show how rich they are.
Yeah, they would just glue over that shit.
And now
everybody's tearing the carpet out going, well, thanks for making my fucking property value go up for, zero money. All I got to do is sand this down, put a nice coat on it.
One of these nights we'll do a podcast around the pool table so you can all see my fucking raggedy ass hardwood floor.
I know, I like that you have that one piece that moves. Just a little bit short.
Yeah, I gotta urethane that floor or something.
Oh, but back to talking to my grandpa about the podcast or whatever. But I was telling him about the choosing to live thing, and he's like, "That's kind of sad." And I was like, "Yeah, I know." And I was like, "But the podcast isn't important to you." I was like, I hold no illusions in my head that it is." Because he's always, well, when is it going to start making money? You're putting a lot of time and money into this. When is it going to start making money? When is it going to start doing anything? I was like, it could potentially generate revenue. Could potentially.
It probably won't. I mean, I'm keeping my expectations
Right,
pretty low.
but just going off of ifs, it could potentially. There's no guarantee. I was like, I enjoy it because it brings me joy. I go, if I put 10 grand into this podcast over the next 5 years and it doesn't make me a dime, I will still be happy about it.
Dude, I put way more than that into drag racing, and it brought me fucking joy.
Yeah.
Every fucking weekend, every fucking Wednesday, I would have dumped double that into it because it made me happy. I loved going drag racing.
Right. And he's always, well, do you really need that for the podcast? No, but it makes things easier, or it, improves the quality. And as much as we're, doing this because we want to, and I'm doing it because it brings me joy, I still don't want it to be shit. I don't want the quality to be my ass.
Right. Yeah, we could be doing this with just a telephone.
Yeah, I could just have my phone recording on the bar.
Yeah.
I go, but why not put effort into it if it's something that you like?
Yeah. Yeah, I sunk shit ton of money in a stupid car, and it really just made me happy. I give no fucks.
Yeah, when I was like, I know that you don't care about the podcast. He was like, no, I don't give a shit about the podcast. I was like, I know. That's what I'm saying, though, is...
Has he even listened to any of it yet?
He doesn't have any way to unless I put it on for him. Which I can tell you, one episode he's not going to listen to. Listen. Which he's talked about coming on to do jokes. I don't know if he ever will. Him and his ridiculous ass. You ever been caught jerking off behind the bathroom door?
Good place to hide, isn't it?
Yeah. Or, you ever fucked a chicken till it died? No. Why'd you stop? Like, Jesus Christ. He's been telling me these since I was like 4, and he wonders why I'm so fucked up. I'll make a joke, and he'll just look at me, and he'll be like, that's not okay. Or he'll laugh. But either way, he just needs to know that it's partially him. I told him the other day, I go, I'm basically just you without a filter. I go, I'm you if you didn't give a shit about what came out of your mouth. Because that's basically, I say the same kinds of things as him, except he tries because, he's a Democrat old man, quote unquote. He's not really a Democrat. He votes D, but he's not a Democrat. But because he's a Democrat old man, the inclusion and the whatever and the not hurting people's feelings, he'll try and say something in like a backhanded way, whereas I'll just flat out say it. And he didn't understand. He was like, I don't think. He's like, we're not that similar. I go, you are crazy. I go, we are the same person. I just have no filter.
Oh, I get in so much trouble for my lack of filter.
Yeah, that ain't no shit.
But I mean, so what? I make some dick jokes.
It brings you joy.
It does. So does my dick.
Mine doesn't really bring me that much joy anymore. I don't use it, and stopped jerking off a while ago.
Well, I don't use mine either, but I mean, it's still there. I talk to it while we're in the shower, but
I don't do that. But yeah, I stopped jerking off. I was like, this is just 5 minutes out of my day that I'm throwing off into the ether.
No, you're still young enough. It is spooshing off into the ether.
Well, yeah, that and some days it was like 30 seconds. Get good, real good after 4 years of not having sex.
Man.
Speaking
If
of,
I could hit 30 seconds, I'd be earlier to work.
I had brought this up last night talking to a woman about being celibate. And I told her I wasn't going to sleep with her right away. I go, I don't want to sleep with anybody until I'm in a serious relationship. And I go, and the other thing about that is I haven't had sex in 4 years. If I'm going to start dating and sleeping with someone that has been having sex in the last 4 years, I want an STD test done.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And she goes, well, I haven't been having sex for like 6 months. I go, yeah, when's the last time you got an STD test? I don't know, like 2 years ago. Okay. How many people you slept with since then? I'm not sure. STD test. And she goes, well, then I got to go get birth control. I go, why? She goes, well, I need a reason to go to the doctor. I go to the fucking free clinic. I go, it's free. Go to the free clinic. Well, all the free clinics around here, they're shit. I go, come to the one in my town. The one here's real nice. I go, I've been there 5 times. And she goes, why are you getting so many STD tests? How many STDs have you had? I go, 0. I go, but what do you mean, why am I getting STD tests? I'm practicing safe sex, or I was at least. I go, I've slept with 12 or 13 people. I've had 5 STD tests. And I didn't feel like that was necessarily enough as it was. I go, trying to be safe, trying to make sure I don't catch something.
The county health department will give you one, but if you got health insurance, they make you pay for it.
Well, she's going to have to pay for it if she goes to the doctor. Either way, you know. But yeah, I just wanted your opinion because it was like a crazy thing to be like, no, I think you should have an STD test.
Oh, I think anybody that would refuse, I would just, I would probably get out of line. And,
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
yeah, I'd put my cart back in the corral and get my quarter out and go somewhere else to go shopping.
When you said that, this is going to sound so fucked up. I was, the first thought that came to my mind was the cart is a woman and the quarter is a baby. And I was like, how the fuck would that work? See, this goes back to the Theo Von thing of Theo Von says whatever the fuck he's thinking. That to me sounds like something that I could see Theo Von saying.
Did you see the fucking Theo Von and Dave Ramsey interview?
I have not.
Oh,
I need to
man.
watch that fucking thing.
That was so good, dude. He fucking actually managed to maintain. Yeah, that was a good interview.
Yeah, you've been talking about it. I haven't sat down because I want to sit down. I don't want to, listen to it at work or listen to it while I'm doing something else. I want to sit down and actually watch it and be able to take it in a little bit better.
I didn't know he was entertaining other podcasts, but I actually found another one on YouTube today, and I don't recall the.
Is it the one with him and Jordan Peterson?
No,
because I saw him and Jordan Peterson on a podcast.
God.
It was actually the clip that I saw sounded really
I'll
interesting.
bet that fucking podcast has all the words because Jordan Peterson likes to use all the words.
He does, but I like Jordan Peterson.
I do too.
He's got a lot of ideals that are based around faith and based around morality, but they aren't. They're applicable in other spaces outside of religion.
Yeah, I didn't know Dave was doing so many podcasts that he was talking to that many people. So
He's probably getting a bunch of requests.
I'm sure he's probably getting more than he's fulfilling.
Right.
But
He's probably just picking out the, either the big names or people that he wants to talk to.
why you would pick Theo Von?
Well, didn't he say he was a fan of Theo Von?
Yeah.
That's probably why. He's like, well, I like the guy. I guess I get to talk to him.
Yeah, he said he's a fan of Theo Von, and in that interview, he said he's also a fan of Rogan's. That blew my fucking mind.
That is kind of crazy.
Like, you're really a fan of Rogan's? Like, what the fuck?
Because isn't like the top 3 podcasts like Rogan Him or Rogan Him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're competing for the number one.
Right.
But the part that blew my mind as far as like white Rogan is Rogan does not have a stance on religion other than, hey man, it makes you a better person. Just recently, Peterson said that Rogan's going to Christianity. So I was like, what the fuck?
I mean, they've got a good point. When people talk about morality, you know, there should be just basis of morality in society, but there isn't for the most part.
Well,
I mean, some people do, but
the way I grew up, you know, it was pretty strict. Yeah, I didn't adhere to everything, but yeah, it does make you a better person. You don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal.
I think just the thought of there being something more powerful in the universe than human beings, because let's face it, there are a lot of human beings that are in powerful positions or wealthy positions that feel like they have a lot of power and
Clinton. Excuse me, I got a call.
But there are a lot of people that feel like they have a lot of power. So the thought that there is something more powerful than humans, I mean, it also is kind of reassuring.
Right.
Because if there isn't, and those people really do have as much power as they seem to, the world's already kind of ending. Not really ending per se, but you know, the world's gone to shit. I really don't want them to have that much power.
You know what I think of?
What?
You remember Gran Turismo?
The video game?
No, the movie. Gran Turismo with Gran Torino.
Oh, Gran Torino. Yeah. Okay.
Clint
yes.
Eastwood.
Yes. Gran Torino.
When he tells that preacher that you fed false hopes to an old woman. Now, especially in that religion, Catholicism, you fed this old woman false hope that she's going to be okay and that she's going to heaven and all that shit. Anytime religion comes up, that's what I think of, dude. You are just feeding people this false hope, this rainbows that aren't going to come to fruition. The whole thing is bullshit.
Yeah, but there's part of that when I went through that philosophy class, there was some scientific talk about the study of the brain, and the brain doesn't shut off when we die. You know, it doesn't like it doesn't go away. You still have some sort of, for lack of a better term, consciousness in your death. Your brain is still functioning. And from everything up to that, there's probably more research on it now. I haven't looked into it in the last, 8 years. But there was research that shows that whatever you truly believe, not what you say to try and get into heaven, or I'm gonna, fake being Christian because, Jesus is gonna save me if I, follow him. But whatever you truly believe is what your reality will be when you die. So the people that believe in heaven, their consciousness will, for lack of a better term, put them in heaven until their, brain is decayed. So just that thought that there isn't necessarily a wrong religion, because I think that's another problem with religion is every one of them talks about why the other is wrong and they're right.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any wrong religion. I think if you believe something and it makes you a better person and you truly believe it and you're not just doing it to, quote unquote, try and get into heaven, then
that would be me. That would be me like, oh, yeah, I know this is right. I'm just, oh, shit.
yeah. But I think that there's some merit to that. But I also think that if you don't have a religion, you need to have your own moral code, not just going around stealing, killing, raping.
That's what I think is the best part about religion, is that they give you a moral code. Like you're taught, don't rob, don't steal, don't lie. I think that's one of the best things about religion, regardless of what type of religion it is.
Right.
Because I don't know of a religion other than maybe Judaism where they're like, robbing's not a good thing to do. Judaism's like,
as long as you can make it seem like it's working out for both of you.
if you're an accountant and you can make it work, we're not gonna fault you for it. But,
well, isn't Judaism the only religion where they don't shame you for being rich?
Yeah. Yeah. So other than that, I mean, every religion I know of is don't kill people, don't struggle fuck nobody, don't.
I was not prepared for you to say don't struggle fuck anybody.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, no, I got what you meant. Yeah,
don't do egregious things against other people, and maybe life won't be so bad for you.
See, and I think another thing about religion in modern day that's good is there aren't as many actual parents anymore as there were when I grew up. And when I grew up, there weren't as many parents that were real parents, parenting their kids, taking care of their kids, providing for their kids, and teaching their kids as when you grew up. And probably less when you grew up than, say, the 30s, 40s, 50s.
Well, feminism kind of ruined the American family.
Well, yeah, there's
when the government put out their psyop of women need to be independent and they need to go to work, it was, hey, we're gonna double our tax cow farm, so we're gonna get women to go to work because that's gonna make them feel independent.
Right.
So they went to work. Suddenly, you had latchkey kids.
What is that?
A latchkey kid is a kid who went home to no parents.
Oh. They had a key to the lat. Okay.
Yeah, that was like a common term when I was a kid, latchkey kid. The government convinced everybody that, you don't need to stay home and take care of your kids. You need to go to work.
Yeah.
Get out on the fucking farm, you fucking tax cow.
When in all reality, the government would be, a little bit smaller, which would be a good thing. And
a good thing? It'd be a grand thing.
And if we had more traditional, and I'm not even saying that the woman needs to stay home, just a traditional house and where there's a provider. Yeah, you want to get on the whole, men should provide for the family thing. That's whatever. But putting that aside, having someone taking care of the children during the day and having someone provide just seems to, over history, if you look back on history, provide the best family archetypes and family dynamics and children that actually were afraid of whatever the fuck they did being found out by their parents.
Oh. I read this a couple days ago, and it's probably bullshit, so the fucking emails down there tell me I'm wrong.
He's drunk a lot.
Rick Moranis.
Okay.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah.
I read that after that movie was made, he left Hollywood. He became a stay-at-home dad because his wife either got sick or passed away. So he became a stay-at-home dad, and That's why he's not in any other movies after that. And again, if I'm wrong, please correct me. I did not fact check that.
I would really hope that would be correct, and it's not just that he was on Epstein's island for the last fucking
right.
20 years.
But yeah, I read that the other day, and I was like, man, if that's true, that is a stand-up son of a bitch. That is a fucking, that's a dad.
I mean, there aren't enough parents, man. I mean, I had my mom until she passed away.
She gave up on you.
That's kind of fucked, Joe. It's kind of like really fucked. You dick eater. God damn. I don't even know what I was saying. Oh, parents. God damn. I had my mom and she was fucking nuts. I was scared to death of doing something like actually egregious because for the most part, I was the baby. I got away with a lot. But like one time I called my mom a bitch. We were doing laundry and she told me to do something. And I said, "You do it, bitch." I don't even know where I got that from. And I got choked against the wall. Like, very crazy.
Do you think you had it coming?
Oh, I definitely had it coming. I'm not saying I didn't have it coming. I definitely didn't expect it, though, either. But there aren't really parents anymore that do anything to discipline their kids, which is another thing the government has kind of fucked up. You can't even discipline your kids without worrying if you're going to go to jail over it. Yeah. You can't spank your kids. You can't, yell at your kids really, because if somebody finds out that you spanked your kid, probably getting CPS called on you.
Yeah.
Or if, your kid finds out that they can do that.
Dude, some of the stuff that happened to me as a kid would be, I mean, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, no, prison
absolutely.
time now. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And you know what, though? Looking back on this stuff,
do you think you earned every bit of it?
Every goddamn bit of it, dude. Every fucking bit of it. I was a dick. The stuff that would, get my dad in trouble now, I deserved every ounce of that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I deserved every bit that I got. Granted, after my mom passed away, I basically did anything I fucking wanted, which didn't help me in the long run. But, which we talked about that at one point.
Yeah.
How it took me, until the last year or two to pull my head that was firmly planted up my ass.
Yeah. Yeah, the conflicts my dad and I had when I was a teenager, especially from like 13 to 17. My dad and I had these, like, fist fights, like actual fist fights.
I just imagine your dad beating the shit out of you.
I haven't had a fist fight like that since I was a teenager. Like, literally holding on to each other's hair in the driveway and having a fist fight. I've never had one of those since.
Do you think it was caused by Metallica? Do you think Metallica ruined you?
My dad might think so, but yeah. Looking back on it now, it's like there's so many different ways I could have handled that. I could have told my dad, don't worry about it. It's okay. I could have done a whole bunch of different things.
You could have just not done whatever you did to piss him off.
Well, I was probably going to do it anyway because I was a fucking teenager.
But I mean, like, there's other things that could have happened, but you wouldn't be who you are today if you didn't do that dumb shit and then get disciplined for it.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, Dad and I had a falling out, and then I don't know, 6 months later or something like that, he called me and talked to me for like half hour on the phone at work. I was like, Dad, I gotta go. I'm at work. Well, why don't you and the old lady come out this weekend? So went out. Everything was smooth as shit, man. He was like, hey, I probably could have handled that better. I'm like, yeah, I Probably should.
Takes a big man to admit when you fucked up.
Fuck yeah.
It's hard for me to fucking do, and I try and apologize at any chance I get if I do something stupid.
Yeah, I'm like, I probably could have been not such a dumbass. So yeah, he took the high bar and was like, sorry, buddy.
Which that's another thing is there's not a lot of maturity in parents anymore. So they don't have that I'm going to be the bigger person. They have that I had a kid too young.
Right.
And I want to live my life. There's not like responsibility, it seems like in parent. Yeah, there's not responsibility in parenthood anymore. Especially, if you wanted to, you can just go get a word. I don't know if I could say that on YouTube, but you could just do that, or adoption, or you could just pawn them off on your parents.
Yeah. Well, since I'm living here anyway, will you watch my kid?
I really want to go out. I haven't gotten to go out since I was pregnant.
Aren't you glad I brought you a baby?
Yeah.
Instead of,
as much as I can't stand the sperm donor, hearing about your dad, which I've met your dad. I liked your dad. He was a fucking asshole, but I liked your dad.
that was his charm. He was an asshole.
He had a weird way of going about making fun of you that you're like, this guy fucking likes me. It was like if I don't like somebody, I'm not making fun of them. I'm not making jokes with them. I'm gonna be like very straight with them. Cool. End this conversation now. But your dad had that. I'm gonna make fun of you, and you're gonna seem like my best friend while I'm doing it.
Yep.
Which I like to think that your dad did like me.
We never said anything bad about you when you weren't around.
Wow.
So.
I take that as a win. But yeah, as much as I can't stand the sperm donor, hearing about your dad calling you while you're at work 6 months after having a fight, it's I don't know.
I literally moved out. I moved out.
Right, because you became an emancipated minor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I moved out, and he called me out of the blue.
Yeah.
At work 6 months later, and kept me on the phone for about a half hour. Like, okay, Dad, I gotta go. I gotta go.
Right.
I'm working in a fucking quick lube place. I got oil change. I gotta go.
Yeah, I should have had 4 fucking oil changes done by now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, it does. It kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say opens my heart up to it, but it makes me think about like, oh, it would be nice, to get an apology.
I never thought that was coming. I really didn't.
I don't think it'll probably ever come for me.
It was a bad breakup, I guess you'd call it.
What was the fight over?
Oh, I was a fucking semen-filled teenager that fucking knew more than anybody else, and
oh, so you were just a teenager?
yeah. I knew more than him, and I knew what the fuck I was doing, and
now,
he was just being a dick, and
now you look back on it, and you're like, I didn't know a fucking thing. Probably.
Oh yeah, I definitely didn't know anything. Now, was I right in what I did? Part of me says yes. My dad and I talked about it. My dad didn't know how to be a dad. I didn't know how to be his kid.
Yeah.
So, it was probably best that I left, because it probably would have escalated.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say, being with my grandpa, we get along, but we're more friends than a parental figure, because that's just how it's always been.
Yeah.
Especially after Mom died. But there's just something about arguments that don't go away when you live with someone. If you argue with someone and you have a disagreement, you can be like, all right, let's just agree to disagree. I'm going to go home. I'm going to go to the basement. So
right.
I'll see you tomorrow. And then it gets brought up again.
Yeah.
And then it gets brought up again. And it just blows everything out of proportion.
Yeah. There was a build up to.
Oh, I'm sure there was.
But I mean, and there was a specific event, but there was a build-up before that where it's like, no, yeah, we're not compatible. Like,
For living together.
yeah, oh yeah, there was no way. There was no way.
Everything that I've seen, granted, obviously I haven't known you that long, but everything that I saw, with you and your dad not living together seemed like you guys got along very well.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And literally, like 6 or 8 months after I moved out of the house, we started to build like this really good relationship. But yeah, living together was like.
Yeah, I think there's just.
I think another 3 months living with my dad, I probably would have done something where he would have really hurt me, like, and I don't want to be disparaging. I probably would have deserved it.
Right.
I probably would have.
Oh, I'm sure you
done
would.
Something like he would have fucked me up.
That, or I could see the situation of just get the fuck out of my house and I never want to see you again.
Yeah. Something. He would have drawn a line.
It probably wouldn't have been a repairable.
No, he would have drawn a line and been like, you got to go, or I'm gonna hurt you.
Right.
Because I was a prick. I was a prick.
Just being a dick for no reason.
Dude, every damn button. I was dancing on that shit like fucking Tom Hanks and fucking, what's that movie where he's dancing on the piano? Yeah, that was me. I was pissing him off every chance I got.
Dude, don't even try and piss my grandpa off. That guy finds fucking ways to be mad. Like, I try to avoid being around him so I don't piss him off. And I piss him off by avoiding him.
When I was a kid, that was me and my dad. I used to, we'd hear his truck coming down the road. And I'd run up to my room and fucking hide.
Yeah.
Just to not make him mad.
Right.
But by the time I was a teenager, it was like, see if I can get flames to blow out his nose. Yeah. I was an asshole kid. My brother, why do you do that to him? 'Cause it's funny.
Oh shit. Yeah, I'm thinking, just hearing about, your relationship with your dad, it makes me hopeful. But it's kind of like us with the podcast. I'm hopeful, but I'm a realist.
I wake up in the morning going, it's hard. It's still small. Fuck.
Or going, oh, it's hard. Fuck, it's not as hard as I want it to be, though. But I feel like that just comes with old age.
If I touch it, I'll just piss the bed.
Dude, when I was doing drugs, that shit would be the worst. Because not pissing the bed. That's not what I mean. I mean waking up with the piss hard on, and you're like, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to rub one out. And you're like halfway through, and it's either finish or piss the bed, or it's stop and don't finish or piss the bed, and it's like, God damn it. Got to get up and take a piss, and it's all just gone. You're like, well, guess I'm getting around for the day.
All right. Well, it was a little more than I expected, but
It's just my Theo Von thought process when you said, I'm going to piss the bed.
yeah, that's just age for me.
Comes along with that walnut.
I definitely got to get that walnut inspected.
I know, I got to finish it. I think I'm going to try and finish that logo tonight. I think that'll be funny. If I get it finished tonight, I'll put it on this episode as the logo.
The walnut inspection. Oh.
We know our own personal walnut inspector, too.
Folks, men in general, if you're over 40 and you have a history of prostate stuff, go get fucking checked out, dude. I'm actually kind of scared. I don't go until July, but
I think it'll be okay.
Well, if he tells me it feels funny, I'm just gonna back up into his finger and be like, "Fag."
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, guys, go get checked out.
I just think it's a little bit. I'm glad that you're advocating for it now, but it is a little bit ironic because I think it was like 2 months ago. I was like, dude, just go get a fucking prostate exam, and you were like, I'm not having some dude stick his finger in my ass.
Yeah, but you know what happened 2 months ago? I went in the fucking emergency room, and a nurse stuck her finger in my butt.
Sounds kind of hot. I can't keep a straight face.
I don't think she'd have been hot if I'd have lit her on fire.
I apologize to all the listeners, but the dolphin just came out in me.
Fucking dolphins.
Fucking dolphins. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Hi, buddy. Oh, man.
Oh, and guys, anybody who's like dealing with a fucking a mental issue, a depression, anything like that, please go get fucking help. And I say this because I went to our local hospital. How long ago has that been? Probably 6-8 months. I went to our fucking local hospital. I just need somebody to fucking talk to. They sent me to the fucking emergency room, and the doctor comes in. He's like, I'm not a mental health specialist, so I can't help you. But the motherfucker diagnosed me with some bullshit. No fucking kidding,
How can
dude.
he diagnose you if he can't help you?
He was in the room for 3 fucking minutes and diagnosed me with dissociative disorder. So
is that
now
where like you have like you know that you are accomplished, but you don't feel like you are?
Fuck if I know. I didn't come home and look it up. I was fucking pissed.
I think that's what that is. I think that's
I'm like,
where
this is fucking.
you feel like your accomplishment is fake, like you're a farce.
I was having a fucking mental breakdown. I wanted to talk to somebody. I go in there and I get this fucking jackass.
Hey, buddy, my phone is on 24 hours a day.
You're a mental health specialist.
At this point, I might as fucking well be. I've dealt with enough of it.
Well, possibly. But anyhow, guys, if you need to fucking find a professional, go talk to somebody.
We're not sponsored by them.
Fuck
But
no.
We're not sponsored by them, but I've been looking into like BetterHelp.
Yeah,
it's just an app where you can kind of go through and you know you're not stuck with a therapist and you can kind of try around and it's all online.
Hell, even Dr. Phil's got one. Go check that shit out.
Right.
Something.
And I don't even necessarily need it because I'm depressed. I think that therapy helps because one, you get somebody that's unbiased to your situation. They aren't going to have an opinion on your side, the other person's side, the other whatever side. You get somebody that's unbiased. You get somebody that is going to know how to deal with whatever you're talking about. And even if it's going to therapy to talk about, you know, how you're improving your life and you want to stay on the right track, I think therapy can help basically anyone.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't done therapy since I was a kid, but I can tell you that was one of the most disappointing visits to the fucking hospital I've ever had in my fucking life.
No, our mental health care in the U.S. needs as much, if not more, reform than fucking taxes.
I was embarrassed.
Well, yeah, because
then,
you've just talked to a bunch of people, and none of them are actually able to help you.
Yeah, I was embarrassed, and then I'm told, well, we can't really help you.
Right.
Unless you want to check yourself in.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, I'm gonna write myself in for a 72-hour hold.
Yeah,
Fuck
exactly. You want a 72-hour hold? What? Fuck no.
That, and on top of that, why would I check myself in to your facility when you don't even have a fucking mental health specialist to talk to in the ER?
Oh, I came home and I called back to the hospital, and I got the director and explained to her why I was there, and explained to her, look, you need somebody that's maybe not 24 hours a day on call, but it'd be nice to have somebody that,
even if they just had a helpline that was goes to a fucking cell phone and it gets passed around between 4 or 5 doctors that have some training in mental health and can actually talk to you. You don't even have to go in then.
Instead, I get some fucking MD. Well, he's got dissociative disorder, blah, blah, blah. So,
but I'm not a mental health specialist.
Now I've got this shit on my fucking health chart.
Fake ass motherfuckers. But yeah, no, I agree. I think, whether you're in a good spot in life or you're in a bad spot, I think therapy could have positive effects on your life. Kind of similar to the religion talk. I think it could help.
And massage parlors.
I've never been to one. I already know you were going with some direction where you were going to make a joke about me getting a happy ending. I've never been to a massage parlor. I've never gotten a massage. Well, guys, on that note, hope you guys all enjoyed listening. If you didn't, eat a dick. Our email is mikesharderpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah. If I'm wrong, send me a fact check. I'm drunk a lot, so I'm wrong a lot.
Oh, you'll be getting emails from my personal email.
I bet I will. You know who's not going to email me? Your mom.
That's fucked. All right, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.
Later.